Hello, my name is Zoe Lee and I'm a mechanical engineering major with a minor in astrophysics here at the University of Cincinnati. This video you're about to watch is a documentary of international student perspectives here at UC. In their own words, international students tell you about the different experiences and obstacles they have simply in trying to get an American college education. In making this video, I also took a random poll of American students to see how aware they were of many of these obstacles. In watching this video, I hope it promotes awareness among American students of the obstacles that international students have to face, and also fosters a sense of friendship, not only between American students and international students, but among different cultures and international community as well.
The application process for me while applying to UC and other colleges in the US was pretty much the same as American students had. I had to give my SATs, I had to write essays, I had to give my letters of recommendation. One extra part was proving my proficiency in English, for which I had to give the TOEFL test, which stands for Test of English as a foreign language. That was the extra part, and I didn't qualify for financial aid. So those are the two main differentiating factors, the TOEFL test to prove that I know English, and my restrictions for getting a financial aid because I was not a US citizen. Other than that, applying to UC or other US colleges was really easy and simple for me, as it was for any other student in the US.
When I was applying for my visa, I wasn't living in France at the time. But to get my visa, I had to do an interview at the embassy in France. So I had to travel back to France to get my visa.
As an international student, you have to go through a lot of paperwork and you have to be used to that. It takes months to get an American visa, and for that you have to clear tests and then a lot of paperwork, and then you have to give a visa interview. You have to go to the US embassy to get a visa, because they talk to you and ask you why do you want to go to the US, and you have to get all your answers ready for them.
I've applied for UC on the December of 2015, and I've received my answer maybe 10 days after my application, but I didn't receive any financial aid. I've been looking for a financial support for 5 or 6 months until I've passed the test, which qualified me for some scholarship, but it still wasn't enough, and being a national student doesn't give you much option for scholarship. Most of them are for citizen or for American, so it's kind of hard to get any support or help financially.
Application process for international students is a lot of pain. I mean, the amount of paperwork that we have to do is a lot. To top that, if you pass the application process very easily, the visa is another restriction, and nobody takes guarantee that your visa is going to be accepted. So as part of the application process, it's really tough.
I applied immediately after coming here, but the major problem for the students here is that they don't know where to apply. For instance, each service has a different process of application, different website for this.
So as for the on-campus job, we thought about it when we first came here, and we find it really hard to get. We asked the library, we asked the recreation center, and they all told us that there is no available position for us. And the second thing is that we don't have much information about the available position from campus. Yeah.
On-campus jobs on the university portal, so I found it very difficult to secure one. But since I have some contacts in the student government, they helped me find an on-campus job, and it wasn't very difficult for me that way. So for international students, if you want to have an on-campus job, you need to have some contacts in order to make the process easy.
The only way I got it was because of a recommendation through a friend who worked in a desk in the dorms. I'm not saying recommendations are bad, but at least we need to be told that it is important to network and talk to people if you need to get a job. But we come here with the misconception that you can just apply and you'll get it. But most of the times they pick students who already have experience.
Well, I've been trying to get a job since the beginning of the spring semester, and as an international student, it's kind of hard to find a job because you actually can only work on campus, and the work on campus are mainly work study, and they're for national student American.
Getting an on-campus job is pretty easy, and the application is still the same as we have for American students as it is for international students. The main difficulty would be in the paperwork, because our paperwork goes into the UC International's office. So that way, if I have to get a job, it would take me weeks to get it authorized by the US government. I have to get a social security number. That way, it gets difficult for me in that place. So that process is simple, the paperwork is hard.
Not that difficult, really. I started working as a learning assistant my second semester on campus, and that job was not hard to get. All that I required was to have an A in the class that I was teaching and recommendations.
I feel it is difficult to me to make both ends meet because as an international student, you have to pay some extra expenses which domestic students do not pay, and also most of the times the exchange rate is really bad for countries like mine, where $1 is equal to like 65 rupees. So it's really hard to pay double tuition when your own country's economy is not that good.
The maximum number of hours I can work with my F1 visa is 20 hours per week, and given that I get paid $10 an hour, and I might not always have time to work 20 hours, it's barely enough to make money for rent and food.
I think it is difficult to make ends meet with the amount of hours we get, but it depends on the person. So if someone needs to work a little more than 20 hours to make ends meet, they should be able to.
It is kind of hard to get a paid co-op because employers do not want to deal with extra paperwork that you have to do for them. So yeah, it can be an obstacle in the way of getting a paid co-op.
Especially when you're engineering, you're supposed to find a co-op, but most of the company in the career fair don't actually take people, like international people. So we have to rely on the PAL application or other interview to find a co-op or a job.
A lot of companies say no because they're looking for co-ops that who graduate and come to the company and work as full-time, and they don't want to sponsor international students. So even if I go to a career fair, these are the list of companies who work for computer science co-ops. The list goes down when it comes to hiring international students. So that's the tough part. There are little less companies looking for co-ops, and there are many international students. So the competition gets really high for us.
I interviewed with GE Healthcare and got rejected simply because I'm an international student, and even though their work has nothing to do with the military, they don't hire international students because they don't want to even consider the possibility of hiring them for H-1B visas.
For paid co-op jobs, it's really difficult for us to get a job. So I recently attended the Spring Career Fair, and like 90% of the companies don't even hire international students just because we have some visa restrictions later on. So we need to go for some small companies or the startups who are really willing to get us on board.
We find it really hard to get a paid internship here because
Many companies were set the requirements that we need U.S. citizens and or the permanent resident instead of the international students.
Students with F1 and J1 visas aren't allowed to apply for a lot of scholarships such as the board awards or the AIFS scholarship or plenty of other scholarships that are only for US citizens. So even though we're studying here, we can't get half the benefits.
The most restrictive requirement for me as an international student is about the funding of my program. Actually, my program has a very limited budget for an international student, so it's very competitive and if I compare it to the other American students.
It is possible to change a major, but it's hard and you need to have a certain requirement, you need to have a certain GPA. So you can't really change your major without knowing that students don't know about it when they come here. So we need to make sure that we tell them in advance that it can be hard or you need to do these certain things.
One of the restrictions is not being able to work full time, and another one is not being allowed to take a semester off. And if you do, you have to go ahead and contact the immigration service and make sure they give you the approval, failing to which you will be legally in, and you will legally have issues with the immigration service.
Language is really a big problem for me since in China we don't practice English a lot, and when we came here we have to use it, but now I'm get used to it.
Pretty much everything, from food to light conversation or greeting people, everything was hard at first.
I had to repeat myself over and over. And when you speak English as a second language like me, not even a second language, the third or fourth language like me, you find yourself in a situation where you not always make sense to many people.
It's a bit tough to follow everything here, like opening the doors for the other person or pushing the lift buttons. Not a lot of people know that to do them because nobody told them, and then that might lead to a situation where the natives, like the Americans, might consider it rude. So yeah, I'd say there'd be some orientations or some videos for the people, for the students who come in, so that they know what to do here and how to live, what the etiquette is.
Moving to the US was really it was a really big change for me, and I'm not someone who likes change a lot, so it was really difficult. I was worried about my education, mostly about people accepting me and all of that. When I moved to high school, I did half of my senior year here. In high school, I remember the first couple of weeks I used to eat at the steps. Yes. Because the system is different. We don't have a big at my school. We don't have a big cafeteria where you have so many people all at one place. It was really overwhelming for me. I walked in the first day and turned around and went to a step. I was like, no, I can't. But then after a while, I started hanging out with teachers. Yes, I started hanging out with teachers, going to their classrooms to eat lunch, and some students who used to be in the classrooms, I started to talk with them. We became friends.
it is hard to adjust to a new country, new people, new food essentially because I'm a vegetarian and I feel that the university dining halls do not provide you with much options. There is a vegetarian corner, but their food sucks. So I don't really like it. So usually I get the same things all the time because all the other things have meat in them. Another thing I would say is that most of my American friends like me and accept me, but they have kind of pushed me to do some things that I didn't want to do, but I had to do it in order to be a part of the group and be accepted by the whole group. And also, I think some people think I'm weird because I wear socks with flip-flops, but I just like it, so I do it. And I'm also a part of the UC Economic Society. I like it.
Not really, I always feel like a stranger because I have a rather thick accent.
Yes and no. There's a lot of people who have been really friendly to me and tried to get me involved and tried to help me assimilate here, tried to help me adapt. But it is still difficult to feel like I belong here, but that's just me. I've had a lot of help.
One really good thing about being in the US, especially in Cincinnati, is that the people have been very accepting. Even if they don't understand my accent, they give the effort to listen to it 3 or 4 times till they get it. So I like the American culture. It was different adjusting to the new culture, but it was easy. But the worst part was adjusting to the snow. I hate the snow. It's tough because where I come from, it's pretty warm compared to here. So that's the tough part. Other than that, I like the US and I've loved my experience so far and I look forward to the years I have here.
A lot of international students are willing to get in touch with all the other people on campus, especially the local people here, people from United States to be specific. I see that people find it very difficult to find a common ground. Say for example sports. So most of the people who come to this country come from either Asia, Europe or South America. Now the problem is that all the major sports that they follow is either soccer, tennis, say cricket or something like that. But all the major sports that we have in this country is American football, basketball, and you have ice hockey happening, you have baseball happening. This is the thing, I mean, those people don't have an idea about these games and these people don't have an idea of those games. Even if these people want to come together and play a game, it becomes difficult. So I think there are certain institutions, there are certain organizations on campus which help people with this. But if we could make a common ground, if we could find something wherein people can meet more often and play all these games together, that would actually bring a lot of people together.
I have almost 15 to 20 Thai students, and we try to help each other when someone get in trouble. It is nice to have people who can speak your or my language.
I work with a lot of people from student government. I'm a treasurer for Yoga for the Soul. I go to a lot of trips through my physics group, Society of Physics Students. I also spend a lot of times in the women in my department, and we have this group called Women in Physics and Beyond, and we have lunches every week, and it makes me feel really included, and it's all sorts of different kind of people. I also love UC Sustainability because it opened me up to like this whole new world.
I have a best friend from Bridges. She's an American, and we will meet every week, and also I will meet with the girl one of the girls from the Bell Chat every week, and we talk a lot. And I feel happy about that time. And as for the organization, I think Bridges and Chinese Student and Scholar Association are both. I involved in 2 organizations. Yeah, and every week they have activities and like the Spring Festival.
I've gotten involved as much as I could since the beginning of my studies here. I joined the fraternity by Kappa Phi. That's where I meet a lot of brothers and people I know. I also tried the concrete canoe to get much experience in construction. I tried the engineering without borders, actually a good thing to help people in Africa and people in needs. And the change in language wasn't that bad. I already studied French, Creole, English, and a little bit of Spanish. So, but English is one of the easiest language to learn actually, so it wasn't that bad. So speaking with American was okay, and I kind of felt accepted, and I found people to talk to.
I was looking for lots of for some specific student organizations on campus to get involved with, like the UC Taekwondo Club, which has been there for a very long time. But surprisingly, UC did not have a debate society, so I decided to form one. Actually, found the UC Debate Society.
Paid Chats, it's a great program where you get paired up with an international student and domestic student, and they meet like once an hour a week, and you get to know about their cultural differences, the cuisines and everything. And some other organizations are the individual country organizations which celebrate your country festivals with the US people as well as the other international students, and that actually helps bring all the different cultures really close.
So far I haven't really like met from my country at school. Like the only people I knew that from my country are people I go to church with, and I haven't really been into any clubs or stuff because I mean I don't know, I'm still like getting the feel of it, of people, trying to get used to people here. But I did join the planning committee for the Worldfest, and that's where you guys are right now. So yeah, I'm starting to get around. I guess I'm talking to more people than I did last semester.
Enough that I found many friends from India as a support group. So if there's an Indian festival or anything going on in India, I can discuss it with them. Other than that, even my American friends or my Chinese friends for that matter, or my Vietnamese or my Brazilian friends, they have been very accepting. So I found my support in everyone, irrespective of their country, where they come from, what they think. Everyone has helped me adjust to this culture, and I have looked forward to helping others too.
I'm in the ASSE student chapter for American Society of Safety Engineering, which is related to my program, but I'm quite a rookie, and we are trying to build it together, and it might take time, but it's fun to do it together.
Several of my passions include international culture, languages, and diversity. I was fortunate enough to go to a very diverse high school and even start an international festival there. Here at UC, I've also made many friends with international students, and talking to them about their experiences and obstacles here at UC, as well as the lack of awareness on American students' part of these obstacles, made me want to create this video and learn more about it myself.
I've been teaching here since 2011. I also taught ESL at Cincinnati State up until this year at the same time as UC, so I've gained a lot of insights over the years into challenges that international students face, especially here at UC, as we have a large Chinese international student community. And while there are a number of challenges that our international students face, which I think a lot of American students don't know about, be they financial or work-related or post-graduation related, the biggest challenge that I really see in my students is the cultural challenge of how they come here and the most effective and direct way for them to get access to American culture and also to develop their English is by interacting with native English speakers, with American students on campus. And that is really hard for a lot of our international students to do. For one reason, because so many of them are from China, and we have a huge Chinese student population on campus now. So because our Chinese student community is so strong and so wonderful, a lot of our international students who first come here can get kind of locked into it or stuck even, can feel very shy about approaching American students and trying to make friends with them. Typically they live with Chinese-speaking roommates, and while that's very helpful at the beginning because they are in a new culture, they are just starting to use English on a daily basis in many cases, over time it can be tricky because American students also feel shy about reaching out to the international students, learning more about who they are, where they come from, and what they can bring to the table in terms of helping them understand the world better as well. So something I would love to see here at UC in the future is perhaps a kind of partnership program which other universities are using that help to bring together American students with international students in a kind of buddy system where both get to learn more about each other's culture, and it can make that crossover easier to do. Because having access to American culture means having access to North American English. Language and culture go like this.
I hope you were as informed and entertained with this video as I was making it. Although many of the initiatives, such as partnering an American student with an international student, have already been accomplished on a smaller scale through organizations such as Bear Chats, there's still much room for improvement. However, it is up to the individual to make a difference. Get informed about different issues on campus that international students face. The more people know about them, the more likely they are to change. Learn about different cultures, either through cultural clubs or international students themselves. Don't be shy to try to talk to an international student. You never know, you might meet your next best friend. And most of all, just learn about the world around you and you will become a more informed and better person. Thank you.